Yeah, so I mean, NFL right now, I don't think we can really get too far without talking about Julio Jones. I mean, you see so many odds out there right now. Teams like the Broncos getting so much love because they think, oh, maybe we're going to land Aaron Rodgers. Well, they're not adjusting quite as much for Julio Jones. Quarterbacks obviously weigh a lot heavier. So I think there's definitely some value to be had on some of these numbers if you think you have the inside scoop on where Julio might land. And obviously, we're going to talk about some of those teams here. Hayden, what do you think? Do you think do you think you have a good spot for where you think Julio might end up here, or what are you thinking?
I would really love for him to end up on the Chargers with
Thank you.
Justin Herbert. That would be very
I knew it might.
spicy.
Oh,
Um, I don't know. What are you guys thinking? I like the Chargers personally. I think they have the cap space to make it work, or they could easily move pieces around to make it work.
I
I,
I have to jump in, Drew. I have to jump in. Hayden, thank you so much. First of all, I'm a little upset for you stealing my take, but second of all, I could not agree with you more about being really excited about the possibility of Julio Jones going to the Chargers. I don't know if I don't want to jump ahead, but I feel strongly about the Chargers this year. I think they're one big playmaker away from Kansas City being in a little bit of trouble. That division
oh,
is not sewn up. I'm just going to say it. So I would love
okay.
to see Julio Jones go to the Chargers.
So both of you mentioned the Chargers and how cool it would be with Justin Herbert, who needs to grow his hair back out. He's like Samson. They cut his hair. He lost all of his power in the last part of the year.
Do
I'll
it.
die on that hill. Second, the guy across from him, Keenan Allen, who I think is one of the sneakiest. I'm going to borrow a take from Ryan Russillo. He's one of those guys who doesn't get enough credit. Like we all talk about Keenan
I
Allen, we know
agree.
how good he is. He's a multiple-time Pro
He's
Bowler.
injured a lot.
He's injured a lot, but I think just in terms of route running, he's top three in the league, right? Like
Dude
he's
gets
not a
open. Dude
he's
gets
not a
open.
physical specimen. Yeah, he's just open. That's just what he is. He's 7'11", baby, always open. Who's the next team? I guess in like the favorite odds of where he's going to play next year. Do you have that?
I mean, it's got to be the Patriots, right? I
Yeah, I
mean,
was just gonna say it's got to be New England.
Oh,
got to be. I
is
mean,
New England like that shoddy this year? Are they going to take a huge shot, just trying to keep it moving? They spent a ton of money. I mean, is it not going to
that's
be a
what I'm
team
saying.
like the?
So, yeah, they've been spending so much money. I don't honestly get too wrapped up about, oh, who has the cap space to sign him because they'll make it work. I mean, they have full-time salaried cap technicians that will figure this out. They will move players around, do whatever they have to do. They'll make it work. Now, Bill Belichick, obviously there's a history. There's a history of veteran players, even wide receivers. We saw it with Randy Moss. They could absolutely use a little bit of talent in their wide receiver core right now. They spend a ton of money on tight ends and free agency and things like that. 100% I could see Bill Belichick going hard after Julio Jones.
Interesting. Do you think he gets him for like a Randy Moss deal, where it's like a second rounder and a linebacker you've never heard
Yes. Yes. No,
of?
I think maybe like a second and a third or something like that. Probably not a first rounder. That would be a little salty. But you know what? The way Bill Belichick drafts, you might as well give him a first rounder. It's not really his strong suit, I would say.
Yeah, you're right there. I don't think Julio's gonna go for a first rounder. Honestly, I think you're dead on there. A second and a third will probably get it done for whatever team.
Yeah, I think when they drafted Kyle Pitts this year, we kind of knew, right, that Julio was probably on his way out. That was a have to draft a playmaker to fill that void. Um, and I think both of those teams make a lot of sense. Personally, pulling for the Chargers, I think anytime we can get some competition out west with the Chiefs, that makes for good stories and makes for good football. I'm here for it.
There's talk
All
of
right.
San Francisco also a Kyle Shanahan reunion. They could use another wide receiver playmaker. There's been talk of that also. So I would probably put those as the New England and San Francisco is probably the two most likely, but the Chargers is where I would love to see him end up personally. So, yeah, I think that's where we sit with Julio for the most part.